don't know if you noticed this. Well, I know you noticed the first part because we talked about this on our show. How Bernie Sanders and AOC, they was given, and there's no doubt in my mind, AOC and Bernie Sanders was given strict orders not to talk about Ukraine. Absolutely don't talk about Ukraine. Don't talk about foreign policy because they want the left absent in this discussion. So Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz are allowed to talk about it, but not you. Even if you support it, because you don't talk about, don't give them any ammo, no ammo to use in the weakness of your position. We need you to just silently fall in line. We want people to forget about this. Silently fall in line. That's why Bernie Sanders, I forgot exactly, was it Meet the Nation? I forgot exactly what interview, but when he was asked about Ukraine, like, oh, I'm not actually following that closely.
60 Minutes or one of those. Yeah.
Do you guys really believe that? Bernie Sanders lied. Bernie Sanders, a senator who votes on these things, he told this guy, I don't follow this story that closely. That is what Bernie Sanders is told to say. But for whatever reason, Khanna is allowed to talk about it. Like, Khanna is given the permission, even though he tweeted about the dangers of arming Nazis in Ukraine in 2018. He's an open hypocrite who used to speak up about the issue of funding Nazis in Ukraine. Now he's all for it. He's allowed to mention this. And every single time he mentioned it, he gets ratioed. Google Khanna Ukraine, Khanna NATO, Khanna military. Every single fucking tweet he talks about this, he get ratioed. And that's why Bernie Sanders and AOC was given the strict orders not to talk about this, because you got to maintain face. You got to be the good guy here. We can't have you, Bernie. We can't have you, AOC, spearheading this obviously unpopular bullshit. So anyway, I think I made that point. You see,
that's such a great point. That's such a great point, because they in this narrative, blue-red narrative, there has to be perceived heroes, perceived good guys, and they can't get too dirtied up. And that is such a great point. But let's read this tweet from Khanna where he literally is getting roasted. He's literally getting roasted. But let me read. Khanna says the fact that we don't have enough conventional artillery to send Ukraine should be a wake-up call. Most of the top 15 steel producers now are Chinese, and we don't have a single one. The U.S. urgently needs a strategy to become a manufacturing. He needs to put manufacturing weapons superpower. You see how he missed out the weapons part? And he gets absolutely ratioed. This is your response to that. You say, bruh, did Dick Cheney hack your account?
Dude, one of my good friends and people I got a friend that always send me shit. He sent me this shit. I was like, dude, this has to be a parody account. This is someone who's pretending to be progressive that is calling for increased arms manufacturing. What? You are that far gone. You're so far gone that instead of calling for increased production for people to have more housing, right? More affordable housing, or literally, that's my first thing that comes to mind. Literally, think of any progressive idea. It don't matter. It could be literally anything. Instead of talking about that, you're talking about how we need to increase manufacturing to make more weapons. You're not talking about how we need to increase manufacturing to improve our failing infrastructure. We need more bridges. We need more steel infrastructure for our bridges. No, we need more steel for bombs. So I think this is going to be the quote-unquote left-wing way to addressing this, CJ. So there's this issue of them not having enough ammunition and bombs for Ukraine. So Biden sent cluster bombs. So then now what they're going to say is, man, the only reason Joe Biden had to send cluster bombs because we don't got enough conventional artillery. So we need to have more homemade manufacturing. You guys see how the progressives are taking a pro-war position and they're trying to make it a populist position? We need more American jobs to make bombs to kill brown and black people, to flood Nazis. That's the progressive position. Unbelievable. I really think it speaks for itself. So go ahead, CJ. I'll pass.
Yeah, all right. So I just wanted to quickly show you Due Dissidents also chimed in. Military industrial complex too small for Khanna's taste. And this is what Khanna does. So Khanna tweets that out and he knows he's going to get left backlash. So what do he have to do? Wow, I'm showing my neocon policies and ideology. So let me throw some red meat to the clowns that still believe that I'm progressive. So he does this.
This motherfucker, I didn't see this. This motherfucker really tweeted #Medicare for all after posting our. So he posted war criminal ass shit. I need the military industrial complex to be bigger. Then the next tweet, #Medicare for all.
Yes. And he does this all the time, and my tweet points this out. He says every American should have health care from the day they are born in this row. So that's what he says. You see here, 272 likes. I see this shit. I'm like, man, I got to call this shit out. Khanna does this all the time. After tweeting about something that shows he is neocon policies, he'll also tweet about Medicare for all or student loan debt right after. So transparent. Khanna is one of the top frauds in Washington, and I absolutely almost doubled him. I'm at 400 likes there. But people, I just needed to make the point because I know people know he's terrible. I don't know if they put in, you know how sometimes you look at two things like separately, and we need to understand what Khanna's doing when he always wants to say, oh, I'm progressive this, I'm progressive this. He did this with Brianna and Bad Joy, Bad Faith podcast a bunch of times when he came on and to deliver a terrible answer, then he would be like, but I did this bill, I introduced this bill and blah, 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 blah. It's always to mask his neocon sort of policy.
And thing is, Khanna, this is what he probably tells himself to go sleep. Well, at least I'm representing the left, right? Well, at least I'm a scumbag, corrupt politician, but at least I'm representing the left. No, Ro, that makes you worse. The fact that you're trying to trick workers, right? Joe Manchin tricking the suburban wine bombs, and any worker that's tricked by him, that's your fault. But Khanna is uses the flowery language of the proletariat in one tweet while promoting neocon policies in another. He wants people to think he's our ally while he representing the interests of the ruling class. That's worse than centrist. And no one else had been saying this until RBN, because before RBN, you have people say, well, at least Khanna, not Joe Manchin. CJ, you remember this era? Where people say, well, yeah, I know AOC's disappointed, but at least AOC not Nancy Pelosi. Nigga, we done with that shit. Nigga, they are worse. Nigga, they are doing something that's more manipulative, that takes less character than them. Because deep down inside, whether we want to admit it or not, we understand representing your class interest, right? If you come from a rich bourgeoisie community, it may make our blood boil. It may make us upset. But we, on a human level, can understand why they band together. What really don't make sense is how you motherfuckers, not Khanna, because it doesn't include him apparently, but how people like Cori Bush can come from activists, can come from workers, how people like Maxwell Frost can come from activists and workers and then betray them? Nigga, that's some reptile shit. I mean, when I say that, I mean, that's completely inhuman. Like, Nancy Pelosi representing her class makes sense on human interest. You guys selling us out, that's a level of depravity that must be condemned. We can't say shit like they buried in Joe Manchin, they're better than Chris Tillman. Are they really?